All right, everybody. Thanks so much for stopping by another live episode of Real Estate Titans, sponsored by Lion Bolt Media. I'm your host, Greg Fowler, traveling throughout the marketplace, interviewing the top real estate professionals in our field, essentially gathering insight, inspiration. It really drives and motivates these top producers above and beyond everybody else in what I'd like to consider a real estate titan. Now, our very special guest and featured titan for today's episode 260, none other than Gogo Bethke. Gogo, it's an honor and a pleasure. Thank you so much for taking the time.
Thank you so much for having me. I can't believe 260. My favorite number is 8, so I'm going to get 2 and 8, 2 and 6 together. It's an 8. It must have been.
I love this. This works out perfectly. And again, Gogo, it's an honor, truly. What you do for the real estate world and community, absolutely just making this happen. I cannot wait to dive in, really let everybody out there in the Titan Nation know you a little bit better, but also how you got to where you are and where you're continuing to go. So I guess without any further ado, let's talk about the first aspect, which is the most important here.
Most important, how do I tag you? So is the second one in?
Yeah, that one. That's the one. That's the one. Hey, everybody. So if you're listening to this after the fact, you're not live with us. Gogo is literally checking in and tagging us on Instagram. So it's awesome. Literally social media queen. I cannot get ready for this, Gogo. So I do want to ask the first question, which crucially important, again, setting the stage and the tone for everybody out there who maybe doesn't know you. They've been living under a rock for a while. Essentially, where are you from, Gogo? What got you into the business? You know, really, what is your progression into your life and your career today? So kind of your backstory.
Sure. So my real name is Gyöngyvér.
Ah, okay.
Right? You're like, oh yeah, I'm going to sell real estate with that name in America one day. No, no one said ever. Right. My parents, so I'm from Romania, Transylvania originally. And back in the day, it was communism when I was born. And at the time, now I'm going to take you back all the way to my childhood, but I'm going to make it really fast. Okay.
Love it. Love it.
At that time, the rule was that if your name is translatable, then they're going to translate it and you're going to end up a Romanian version of your Hungarian name. So since I'm Hungarian, my parents said, hell no. So I got a very old historic Hungarian name, which is Gyöngyvér. And that didn't work very well for me in the US because they can't spell it, they can't pronounce it. They're like, what the heck is that? Right? They don't know if I'm a man or woman. So when I started so I moved to the US in 2003. I was 21 years old by myself. So my whole family, everybody's back home. And when I moved here, they can't pronounce Gyöngyvér. So they asked me, my nickname was Gyögyö, G-Y-O-G-Y-O, and nobody can pronounce that either. So my host parents, since I came as an au pair, my host parents asked me if they can call me Gogo. So that's how the Gogo came about. When I worked corporate America, they called me Gwen. No offense to all the Gwens in the world. I'm not a Gwen. Yeah. So when I started real estate, I asked all my friends, should I go with Gogo? Because all my friends called me Gogo, right? So I said, should I go with Gogo, or should I go with Gwen? And they all said, go with Gwen, because Gogo is the wrong 1-800 number.
Oh, okay.
And I was like, I was thinking of the yard sign in someone's yard and having a Gwen Bethke or a Gogo Bethke when you're driving by a sign. I figured Gogo is so different you would remember versus having a Gwen, you're going to be like, what did that sign say? Right? So I stuck it out with Gogo, and that's how all the Gogo companies today, I have 9 of them, came about, and Gogo is my name.
Unbelievable, Gogo. And I love that background, you know, when it comes down to it, and that progression into, you know, getting to the States and really diving into real estate, which I guess it was back in 2011. Is that correct? Yeah. So let's talk about that. Kind of what got you into real estate and kind of what led up to where you're at now.
I wish I had like a very amazing story how I got into real estate, right? But pretty much I did what I like to call a process of elimination. I did all kinds of random jobs. And then at the time when real estate presented itself, which was my neighbor who thought I would make a great realtor, I was a stay-at-home mom at the time. And we had a good old conversation in the end of the driveway. My white kids were running bikes in the driveway, right? And she thought I would make a great realtor. And I was like, what a great idea. I watch HGTV all day long. How hard can it be? I'm going to go get a license, call it done, right? So that's exactly what I did. And I passed right away. And that's when reality kicked in. I realized, hold on a minute, they make it look really easy on HGTV, but reality is not HGTV. So first year I made $16,000.
Right.
Probably barely covered my fees, right? And then I started doing my research. I'm the sorest loser you ever meet. I like to copy people who's been where I want to go.
Sure.
So I interviewed all of the top producing agents of what they do, and I realized that everything that they did, I wasn't willing to do, or I couldn't afford it.
Wow.
So they were door knocking. I'm 5'2", little blondie, never gonna happen, stranger danger. They were cold calling. My name is Gogo and I have an accent. Again, is the wrong 1-800 number, never gonna happen. They were farming an area, which I was thinking two things wrong with that. A, I can't afford to farm an area. And B, when I get a postcard, it goes straight in the trash. So why would I do that? And then the last one was Zillow leads or any other third-party company leads, right? And that is just against my religion.
Sure.
I am not going to work so hard to get you a listing so then you can use my listing to generate leads and feed it back to me. So I'm going to buy my own leads. I rather going to take that, build my own social media, plaster it out, and keep my own leads for free. Thank you so much.
Wow, I love that.
So that came to Facebook. Right? I also had no sphere. I have no college education. I was 21 when I got to the US. I barely spoke the language. So, and with no sphere. So I had no cousins, no childhood friends, no college friends, no kids that I grew up on the same street with. I knew absolutely no one, and I barely spoke the language. So I was like, okay, who's my target audience? Who's going to buy a house from me, right? So I was like, oh, strangers. Because I don't know a single person who doesn't need a roof above their head.
Sure.
Do you?
No.
No. So I was like, okay, everybody needs a roof above their head, and everybody has a Facebook account, and their grandma.
Wow.
So I started Gogo's Real Estate on Facebook. I was pretty sure one of the first in Pinckney, Michigan, who had a Facebook business page. And then I just started putting my life out there. And then Facebook grew into Instagram and TikTok and LinkedIn and YouTube and name it. And today I have a verified account. As I like to joke and say, I pretty much grew a brand out of hot air.
Gosh.
I mean, I did give enough knowledge and I spoke plenty of stages, right, to create this brand. But if you think about it, who is Gogo's Real Estate? Who is Gogo Bethke? It's like literally just an agent who got licensed and found Facebook and Instagram and started posting pictures of myself.
But Gogo, you're so brilliant in how you structured it. And you're looking at it to the people who have kind of been there, done that, bought the t-shirt, or in the positions that you want to be in. And you analyzed and you said, nope. But you took the DNA and injected it into the vessels that worked for you. And again, you say hot air. I know you're joking. Massive amounts of work and continuous effort to build what you've built and to do what you continue to do. And I love the fact that you're looking at it from a very new perspective into utilizing technology, but it's still a people business. It's relational, but really connecting in a meaningful way and then bringing that to the physical. I mean, just absolutely incredible what you've done and continue to do. So through your career and in Path, what did that look like as far as you being the individual producer versus a team versus brokerage change? Like, let's get some of that backstory because I'm just so curious.
So I shared that first year I made $16,000. Yay, go me, right? Next year I doubled that. So we are talking almost 33,000, right? The year after that, I doubled that. So probably about a year, by far every single year at very minimum, I doubled my business.
Wow.
At a very minimum. Some years like the year before last, I went from 780, I think it was, to 2.8.
Come on,
so whatever that is, do the math, right? Yeah. So I would say it takes, one of my favorite quotes is, in order to have what the top 1% has, you have to do what 99% is not willing.
Beautiful.
My husband would say, if everybody was like you, Gogo, you would be average. I was like, ouch. Right. Okay. So with that being said, it's going to, Rome wasn't built in a day. So it's going to take some growing pains, right, before you make a change. So I was an individual agent for probably, Christy's been with me for 8 years, and this is my 12th year. So about 3.5 years, right? Okay. I was an individual agent. I had a couple of part-time assistants before Christy, and now Christy has been with me. She's now my operations manager. She started out as my TC. Wow. For all of the companies. So she has built me, she has helped me build 9 companies. We did it together. So first you're going to get like a TC/assistant, right? Then you're going to go and concentrate on, at that point, you're probably still 50-50 buy side listing side. Then you're going to concentrate on listing side because you list you last.
Well said.
And then you're going to hire out the buy side transactions because each of your listings should bring you 2 transactions. So if you're not doing that on your own, you need to hire your listings out, meaning you should hire a buyer's agent who's going to hold all of your listings open, get 2 buyers, one going to buy that house, the other's going to buy another house in the same price range. So now that 1 transaction gave you 3 transactions, on this 1 transaction, you make 100%, on these 2 transactions, you make a 50-50. So technically on that 1 listings, you make a 200% commission.
Wow. Say that 3 times fast, everybody. Gogo could do it too.
I talk very fast, and numbers are my lingo, right?
Oh, I love it.
So first, you're going to hire out the buy side. So you're going to get yourself a buyer's agent, like after your assistant on TC.
Right.
You're going to get a buyer's agent, and eventually you want to remove yourself altogether from production. So that was me. So then second year, I only did listings. And the third year, I removed myself from listings and buy side. So today I have a small team in Michigan. It's just 2 agents. We did 62 transactions last year. It was our first year with the 2 agents. Beautiful. 62 transactions last year, all organic. I don't buy leads. I don't have an office. I like to joke and say I have 2 printers, but I have a black and white color printer. That's my liability, right? So but I don't even live in the state now where my team is. So I'm licensed in Michigan. My state is in Michigan, but I live in Florida.
Oh, no way. Okay. I did not know that.
Yeah. So you can have financial freedom, location freedom, and time freedom. You can have it all. So that's my local team that I built to remove myself from transactions. Now, the part that we skipped over, then I have built 2 other teams and they both failed.
Okay. What was the learning experience? What happened, Gogo? What's the perspective?
Your time is the charm. No. So the learning experience was that you have to have systems and expectations. You have to have a very good, solid contract on what's expected of your agents. You have to hold them accountable because agents are like cats. You're herding cats. It's a full-time daycare job. Sure. Which I am not, adult daycare, as I like to call it. I am not the world's best manager. I know that about myself. I make people cry on a daily basis. So because of that, we have a person in between. We call her my buffer. Okay. They don't report to me. They report to the buffer, right? The buffer talks to me because she knows me and she knows how to handle me on an everyday basis, right? Perfect. I have very high expectations. I am very blunt, but in the same time, I am the world's best manager from the perspective that I am not a micromanager. So with my agents on my team, I really only talk to them if they need me. And then we have once a week meeting. So every Monday morning at 9:30, we have a team meeting. And other than that, if they can't handle something without involving me, that's the only time they come to me. Other than that, they have full freedom to do whatever they want. I don't care what they wear. I don't care how they do real estate, if they're on the couch or if they're on the boat. I could do less as long as they get their work done, right? So that's our local team. And I'm not planning on growing that. I've never had I never wanted to have like a mega icon team of 85 agents and 280 million in production. Sure. That is not my goal. It never has been. Now, I did switch to a brokerage 4 years ago, okay, called EXP. And at EXP, we can build in a different way, which we call a downliner organization. So then I built a 1,000 plus agent team, what we call Team Gogo. It's not a team in a sense of we do not report to each other. Everybody's doing their own thing. We're just business partners. Nobody pays anybody anything. We just happen to be playing real estate together. And we did 1.2 billion in sales in 2022. Unreal,
Gogo. And I wanted to dive into the EXP portion of that for anybody out there who is not familiar, or if they're just wanting your perspective. For me, I think it's important that there's so many different opportunities for so many different entrepreneurs, and not everything's right for everyone. But I guess rewinding back to when you made that decision 4 years ago, why EXP? What was it that really drew you to that?
Yeah. So in order for it to make sense, I'm going to take you kind of back of my real estate career. So I started in 2011 with Real Estate One. At the time, they were the largest family-owned, privately owned real estate brokerage in the state of Michigan, but they were only in Michigan. Even though they were the largest brokerage, they were only in the state of Michigan. So so I spent 7.5 years with them. They called me the $1 million baby because I sold the 1.2 million in 3 hours, which in Pinckney at the time, the highest price range was 280. So 1.2 million was like 4 houses for us, right? So it was a big deal. So I really had it all. They were so kind to me. I had a window office. I could get away with murder, consider it done. I had a great cap, a great cut. I really truly had no reason to leave besides these couple reasons. I was a top producing agent, and at EXP, you can earn your cap back At Real Estate One, I had a cap, and that's the price of doing business.
There we
And
go.
if I went in and said, hey guys, I did 52 transactions this year, can I have my cap back? They probably would have looked at me like, are you out of your mind? Like, it's not an option there, right? Here, hold on a minute, I'm not your average agent. I'm a top producing agent, and I work for money.
Mm-hmm.
So if I can do the same exact thing here, then I'm doing here. And here I'm going to have a $21,000 cap, and here I'm going to have a $16,000 cap, but I'm going to get that cap back. Where should I be as a businesswoman?
Right.
Right. So that's number one. Number two, I started already by that time. By the time I left Real Estate One in 2018, I had about 30-some thousand followers.
Okay.
Most of which were realtors. So I had the real estate conversation all the time. I had real estate conversations with people who were just thinking about getting licensed, and hey, Gogo, where do I hang my license? What brokerage do I choose? I had conversations with people, Gogo, you seem to be so happy where you're at. Can I join you? Or is there another brokerage that you know of that is just like the one you work at, right? So I was referring agents nationwide because Real Estate One was Michigan only.
Sure.
Right. So if I had an agent from California, there was no way for me to get paid for that referral. But I love this industry. I want everybody to be licensed if that's what they want to do for a living. So I would refer them to random brokerages, which is time of my day of being on the call with them, which is takes time away from production, following up with them, make sure they sign up, make sure they're happy, right? Like I'm a people person. It's time away from production. So if I'm taking time away from production, I need to get paid for that time. So the question was, am I not going to talk to future agents so I can continue production to make more money? Or if I am going to talk to future agents, then I need to get paid for that money and I'm not for that time, and I'm not getting paid for that time here. So then do I need to switch? And that's when I switched to Keller Williams. They had what's called profit share. So Keller Williams got to me every time I would close a deal, like Remax, Century, Keller, they would come and try to recruit me, right? And nobody got to me because I had a really, really good cut in cap with Real Estate One. So then when Keller got to me, I actually went from a 9,000 cap to a 21,000 cap at Keller because of profit share. I thought if I can attract all of these agents, the difference will be paid by profit share. Little did I know, I attracted 42 agents and I got paid about $932 or something like that in the 8 months that I was with the company. So it did not worth my time. Because here's the thing with profit share. In order to have profit share, you have to have what's called profit. Now, if you run a business, Greg, which I know you do, is your goal in the end of the year to look very profitable on paper or to look a little profitable on paper?
You always want to increase that margin for sure. Profitability, yeah, for sure.
Yes, but not on paper because you don't want Uncle Sam to take 30% of it.
Right.
Correct? So you are going to do whatever it takes to reinvest back into your business, to grow your business, correct? So you're going to hire a new team leader. You're going to recarpet the office. You're going to order coffee and printers and the next thing you know, there's a little profit. And if there's a little profit, then there's a little profit share.
I see.
And I want it to be Gary Keller. He takes a cut right off the top, 3.5%. Or 4% or whatever he takes, 6%. I think he takes up to $3,000. So I wanted to be Gary Keller. I was like, okay, I want to take a cut on the top, not a cut on the bottom.
Okay.
Is there another way of doing that? But if it wasn't for Keller Williams, I probably would have never looked at revenue share if I didn't get a taste for profit share.
Okay.
Right. So these are all stepping stones in life. You're like, oh, I like to explain it like you open this door and you walk into this room, you're like, and you start looking around, you're like, oh my gosh, I didn't know this existed. Oh my God, look at this and look at that. And next thing you know, I'm like, hold on a minute, there's another door. And then you open that door, you're like, holy shit, I didn't know this existed, right? So life is like that. You keep opening doors, you keep going to the next level. Each step is going to teach you something. So if it wasn't for profit share and switching to Keller, I would have probably never looked at revenue share. But now I understand the difference between profit and revenue. So I like a cut of the revenue, not a cut of the profit. Thank you so much, because I don't know if you're going to spend all of the profit on carpeting the office this year. If I brought you a producing agent and that agent produced, I want a cut of the production, not a cut of what's left after your expenses.
Wow.
So that's revenue share. So revenue share is what EXP offers, right? So I looked at the model, and in 2018, I actually was one of those agents who will never come to EXP, by the way, just so you know.
I love that.
About 40 of them tried to recruit me, and I just wasn't listening. And then finally looked at the numbers, because I like to make, somebody told me that not making a decision sometimes can be the worst decision you ever do.
Oh yeah, for sure.
So I thought I made a decision in my mind about EXP. I thought I knew what EXP was, but I never really researched it. I just listened to what I heard on the street from other agents.
Yeah.
And then if you think about it, that's like wanting to buy a Ford, and then you're going to go into the Kia dealership.
Sure.
What do you think they're going to tell you? That Ford sucks,
Mm-hmm.
right? So that's what I listened to. And I made a decision by not making a decision and stayed where I was for a while, right? And then I finally did my research. I read the small print. I talked to people. I got to the end of YouTube. I interviewed the people who switched. I interviewed the people who left.
Smart. Yeah.
Right. And I came to the conclusion that I want ownership. So that was the other thing. By this time, I was 8.5 years in my career. I would say probably 6.5 years of that as a top producing agent.
Mm-hmm.
So let me get this straight. 8 years at that time was a quarter of my life, Greg. Okay. So I spent a quarter of my life working very freaking hard, being a top producing agent. And if I walk out on the door today, I have nothing to show for it besides my pending deals.
Wow.
So my next option went, okay, then I need to buy into, right? Because that was the only option at the time. So spend $250,000 to buy into a brokerage that, by the way, watch this. I learned first year, you're negative. Second year, you might come even. And the third year, you start making profit. Oh, what a great investment. Let me get this straight. Let me take $250,000, invest it into something that's guaranteed to be negative next year. So let's lose another 80 grand. So now we are 330 into it. And then 2 years later, I'll be even. Yay, me. And then a year 3, right? You will start making profit. But now fast forward, it's 2022 and people are losing. Many of the brokerages are not profitable. Thank God I didn't buy into a brokerage, right? Because so many of them.
Sure.
I'm not going to share statistics because it's not out for public yet, but there's a high percentage of brokerages that are not profitable in 2022. And that's going to get even worse in 2023. So now imagine if I bought into a brokerage, invested $250,000 to come out negative for the rest of my life. Thank you.
Wow.
Next thing, I wanted all that, but I didn't want liability.
Got it.
I didn't want to be responsible for all of those agents' actions because I like to sleep good at night. And I am able to, I don't like lawsuits. I'm Eastern European. We don't do that. I don't even want to say that word out loud. So I'm like, I want to sleep good at night. I like to say it, a $4,000 commission is never going to worth a $40,000 lawsuit. Never.
Wow. Well said.
My name is even my team, my name is nowhere on the contract. I take a referral fee. Thank you so much.
There you go.
Right. So I wanted my cake and eat it too. So I wanted ownership. I wanted to be able to collect revenue share, but not have to take liability. And I wanted to be able to earn my cap back based on my production. And I wanted that ownership without having to invest my own money, just skill and effort. So those are the reasons why I switched to EXP, because I was able to get it all, have my cake and eat it too.
But Gogo, as you mentioned that, and I love how you're peeling the layers of that onion back for everybody. And really for you to explain that for a way for everybody to really kind of look at themselves and say, where am I at? What are my goals? What am I looking to accomplish? And does this framework make sense? And it's not just to say, to make a move, just to make a move. You were in an evolutionary process in your life and in your career. And like you said, what you went through got you to the point that you are today, because you don't know what you don't know. And that's everybody else. And I love your adage of walking into the room or opening those doors and seeing things differently. And that's how it should be. The unfortunate nature of things, and not to a top producer standpoint, or not for any Titans that have been on here, but most real estate professionals, they put themselves in a very small room, in a very small environment, and they don't give opportunities. They don't give themselves an opportunity to understand different perspectives and to hear it out, to see wider, to open those doors and go into those rooms. And I don't really understand why, from my perspective. But again, the people who are really hitting it to the highest of levels, they're always looking for different perspectives and different conversations and higher thought processes, and putting themselves around other people that are going to push them and motivate them past their wildest expectations, and really reciprocal. And that's why I just love the fact that you took us through your thought process. And again, not everybody's going to think like you, Gogo. That's okay.
And some people, I think it has a lot to do with, I know a lot of quotes because that's just for whatever reason how my brain works, right? But one of the things that's going to cost you the most amount of money in your lifetime is a closed mind. Right? So I'm not saying that you should switch brokerages, but I'm saying you should know what's out there.
Yep.
And you should be certain that there's the reason why you are at that brokerage, right? So I think it comes down to loyalty. Right? Most people are like, but I'm so loyal to my broker. And so am I. I'm one of the most loyal persons you ever meet. But my sponsor asked me this question and it blew my mind. Who is your loyalty to? Your family or your brokerage?
Ooh, very strong.
And I realized, and the only reason I was staying and keeping myself at a lower level is because I was loyal to someone who helped me to a point, and then I already outgrown them, but I stayed there just because they were my stepping stone.
Wow.
Right? So now I was faced with the question, who is my loyalty to? And my loyalty is to my family. My loyalty is to my dreams and my commitments and my American dream, right? And I am not going to settle. If there is something better there out there in the world, then this company should have achieved that if they were loyal to me.
Right.
Right. But it's a one-way loyalty. So if there is something out there in the world that is going to make my family's life better, it is my duty to know that it exists. And it's my duty to make the switch unless this is better for my family.
Sure.
Now, if this is better for my family, I will stay. Right. And that's pretty much it. And also the other things, there's the human needs. I think there's 6 human needs. One is certainty, as one is uncertainty. And I love uncertainty. I do not like the same thing over and over again. If you told me I'm going to have the same day for the rest of my life, I'd probably shoot myself in the foot by noon. Right. I don't want to make the same amount of money. I don't want to make it in the same place. I don't want to make it in the same way. I don't want to do it with the same people. I don't want to do the same thing when I wake up tomorrow. I love uncertainty. I love figuring out what tomorrow holds for me or today holds for me, right? Sure. Now, most people don't love certainty. Most people want to feel secure. They want to know that that money is coming in no matter what. They want to know that the ways how they're doing business are secure and they're going to be able to do it the same way for the rest of their life. For me, if I wanted to do business the same way the rest of my life, I would be out of business, because what if I started faxing offers in 2023? I couldn't win a bet if I tried, right? So people don't realize that even though they want certainty in their life, change is inevitable. If you don't change, you're going to be a dinosaur and out of business. So at some point, they're all going to have to make a decision. The question is, who makes the money, them or the broker?
Gogo, you said that so incredibly well. And again, just hopefully anybody who's tuning in with us live or listening or watching after the fact can really analyze their current situation and see where they're at, where they want to go, what their goals are, and what their life is. And again, I can't encourage everybody enough to reach out to Gogo. I mean, if what she's saying really makes sense, if it's touching you and making you feel some kind of way, don't hesitate. I think that's...
I'm more than happy. And I'll be honest with you, it is not for everybody, right? So there might be somebody out there in the world who's like, hey, Gogo, I'm at a flat fee brokerage. I do 2 deals a year, and that's pretty much what I want to do. Even then I can beat your numbers because we can get 3 personal transactions, FYI, 3 personal transactions a year. But there might be situations where the number don't make sense, right? But I am more than happy to jump on a call, run your numbers, show you what it would look like here. And if the numbers don't make sense, stay where you at.
Yeah.
What do you have to lose?
Nothing. A little bit of time. You get to meet somebody pretty awesome, I gotta say. So there's really nothing to lose, as you say, Gogo. But I want to dive a little bit deeper into this, because you've really explained and dropped the backstory and really just kind of setting the progression into your career, and obviously what you've done through EXP and with your team across the world. Gogo, 1,000+ individuals that you're really pouring into and working and educating and teaching. Something that you're extremely known for, amongst so many other things, is the digital aspect. And we kind of honed in on that early on in your career. You look into Facebook very early on. So what piece of advice might you give somebody who's tuning in right now, because they're always wanting to learn from the Titans who've been there, done that, bought the t-shirt? What piece of advice would you give that you added to your business that really grew, helped it scale and change in nature, that somebody could apply today? And I would love if you're all right with sharing a digital aspect or two because that's just your wheelhouse 100%. So what comes to mind, Gogo? What advice do you want to share anybody?
I think the reason why, people meet me right at events and stuff like, Gogo, I see your ads all the time. I see you all the time, right? Mm-hmm. So think of it this way. Number one, video. You have to do video. You need to allow people to get to know you, right? And just feel comfortable in video. And sometimes people say, well, I don't like the way I look and sound. Well, guess what? That's the way you look and sound. So you gotta start liking it, honey, because that's 100%. What you look like, right? Yes. Number two, sometimes like, Gogo, it's too hard to be on camera. I'm like, it's way harder to be broke. Right? Get on camera, honey, because it's gonna pay the bills. And then you have to think about it this way. Let's say we are having a conversation with a cold caller. Okay, you're going to sit down at 8 o'clock. You're going to dial until 11. Let's say it's going to take you, I don't know, each person that answered the call, it's a 5-minute to 10-minute phone conversation. Hopefully you get anywhere if they don't hang up on you or whatever, right? But let's say you spend 3 hours every single morning doing that, and you get, I don't know, I never cold call, so I don't know percentage wise how many of them you get an opportunity or not. But I don't have to do 3 hours a day. I do maybe 5 minutes a day to make a post. And hundreds of thousands of people see it in a month, right? Almost 1 million people see it in a month. And all it took me is 5 minutes. So if you wanted to talk to 100 or 1 million people in a month, how many phone calls would you have to make? Is it even possible?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Right? Because Coach Bird says, when people says, I need to make more money, Coach Bird says, you don't need to make more money. You just need to have more people. People have the money.
Wow.
Right. So my job, and of course, the other quote is the best marketer wins. Yeah. My job is to everybody and their mother and their grandmother to know about who I am and what I do for a living. Know my name, because then you can Google me, which is Gogo, you can miss it. And then know what I do for a living, which is real estate. So anytime real estate crosses your mind, you can just freaking go on Google, YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, name it. I am probably in your inbox. You just have to put Gogo somewhere and you will find me, and you can reach out to me, right? So my goal is to expose my brand and what we do to as many eyeballs, as many people as I possibly can, because people have the money.
Wow.
So referral business alone, we refer somewhere between 24 to 30 deals out a day.
Unreal.
Just referral a day. That's 900 leads a month.
Wow.
That's what, $10, $12, $11,000 or $12,000 a year. 12,000 leads a year. $12,000. I don't work with 12,000. 12,000 leads a year, right? Even if a quarter of them close,
sure,
right? We are talking 3,000 transactions closed a year. So we just started that this past year in May, where we formed some partnerships with lenders and title companies and all, not title companies. I can never remember that. Credit unions.
Oh, gotcha.
Credit unions. So pretty much I have the database of agents. Instead of them having to go and form relationship with individual agents in all different states that they have licenses in, they just come to Team Gogo and I feed the team. So we do about 30 transactions a day that we refer out to Team Gogo agents.
Unbelievable. And Gogo, when you're looking at that, it's that kind of one-to-many sort of conversation. And I love the adage, you use fax machines, you use cold calling. I think there are some traditional bases of business that people are tuning into and saying, oh, well, that still works. It's not the fact of whether it works or whether it doesn't. Everybody has a different flavor, but to understand that there are better, faster, smoother, more productive uses of your time is something that all of us need to understand.
And also that you're going to hit a ceiling. I'm not saying it doesn't work. It does work. But you are going to run out of time. Well said. Right? So if you want to grow your business and there's only you and your ways are cold calling, that is time on task. Time on task, what I want to do is remove time on tasks. So I no longer turn time for money. And that's where you want to get to. Right? So today I own 9 different companies. I have, I don't even know, 40 some different employees, and most of my income is passive.
Unreal. I mean, Gogo, but you're so intentional with really breaking down those bases and understanding what the highest and best uses are and how to really kind of expand those horizons above and beyond. And I think that that's crucially important. You said passive income. And I think that you look at it from a standpoint, same thing with your marketing, same thing with your exposure. And I really would love to dive just a little bit deeper on the video side of it. So if somebody was tuning in, they're like, Gogo, you're a rock star. I love you. I want to be you someday. Somebody's listening to this right now, tuning in. What would you say to them? You said video. What platform or platforms?
Okay, so let's talk about the platforms first.
Yeah.
You are going to find one platform that is your home and you like it more than all of the others. Number one, I want to add on to that though. If you love what you do, you never work a day in your life. So I don't want you to do anything that you don't feel like doing, but I need you to figure out who's going to do it. You're going to have to hire a VA. So I have multiple VAs. I don't even know how many assistants I have anymore. I have multiple. Okay. So what I do is Instagram is my home base. That's where I create. So all of my posts are organic. I do them. Those are my words. I type them up myself on my own phone, but I do it for Instagram only. Then Instagram is linked with my Facebook. So automatically feeds to the business page. And mind you, when I'm talking business page. You do not do business on personal. Sure. If you don't have a business page, that means you don't even take your business seriously. Then why would anybody else take your business seriously? Business page, people, business page, okay? Or professional profiles or influencer, or whatever those profiles are, but business page at a very minimum. Then you link them together. So whichever your home is, if Facebook is that you prefer, then post on Facebook, automatically feeds over to Instagram. If it's Instagram, post on Instagram, automatically feeds over to Facebook. Now, LinkedIn, YouTube, you can't link them. Meaning I can't post on Instagram that would feed over to YouTube. It's not possible yet. So hire a VA. That VA can literally work for you an hour a day. It's going to cost you $5 to $6 an hour. You're welcome. Skip Starbucks if you can afford a VA. Okay. Then the VA is going to take it and post it everywhere. So I have a social media VA. Her name is Karen. And she takes all of my posts from Facebook and Instagram and plasters it into the groups on Facebook, because that doesn't automatically post. Right now I'm a part of a lot of different groups. And then they take it to LinkedIn, TikTok, YouTube. I think that's it. So pretty much I'm everywhere. Okay. Right? And even on Google My Business. So I make one post, takes me 5 minutes, and then they take it and plaster it everywhere else. My opinion on that, you have to be everywhere. You can't pick and choose. Because just like you have a home that you prefer. Oh, and now I started Twitter. I got off of Twitter in the past because it was a different level of English, and I just wasn't understanding many of the things. I was like, oh my gosh, I don't know what this means. But I got back on Twitter because of the freedom of speech thing. I came to this country for freedom. I like that. So I'm going to support anybody that supports freedom. And so that's pretty much it. You take it and plaster it because you have a home base. So does everybody else. Yeah. But that doesn't mean I don't want to sell you a house just because you're a TikTok lover. Sure. And I'm going to sell you a house on TikTok. I don't care where you're going to buy it. Just buy a house with me.
But Gogo, I love that you're breaking it down. And again, video's the format, picking your home, and then, distribution, right? Making sure that you're everywhere to the people in your sphere or outside of it that matter. Any ideas or thoughts on types of content that you'd recommend? I know that's a very broad question, but anything that sticks out to you?
Well, let me see if I can open up an account and show you what not to do.
Here's what not to do. That's
sometimes I have these feeds. I'm like, oh, don't do that. That's never going to work. You're wasting your time. So think of it this way. Any of the just sold, just listed doesn't work. Forget it. Forget it. Now, if you have a listing, whichever the best feature of that house, let's say it's the kitchen or the backyard, or there's a pool or there's a barn, whatever the best feature of that property, you're going to stand in front of it and you're going to ask your 16-year-old to come with you and take a photo. Or your best friend. And then you go to Starbucks after, right? To hang out. So you need to be in pretty much 99% of your photos and videos because you are the person who's going to sell that house. The house doesn't sell itself. The question is, when the consumer is looking at it, who needs to be my realtor, right? Me. But if I go to your profile and I can't tell if you're a man or a woman, I don't freaking know, you're just another real estate company. I'm going to go with that Gogo chick over there because she talks about real estate all the time.
Love it.
Right? Yeah. So you have to be in it. Now, if you posted, let's say, about your newest listing, okay, let's keep it simple. It's your newest listing. It's amazing. It has a pool, okay, in Michigan that you can use for 4 months. Let's not mention that, right? Well, let's say you have a listing and you post a just listed flyer with that information, 3-bedroom, 2-bed, 4,000 square foot, blah, blah, blah. You're going to get 1 or 2 likes on it, maybe. Then you're going to take that same thing, but you are in the kitchen or you're by the pool because it has a pool, right? By the pool in that property, and you said, hey guys, I just listed 123 Main Street. If you want to know more about it, just hit me up. Don't ever give them the address or give them the price.
Beautiful.
Because then they have to ask you, hey, Gogo, where's this one at? Or they have to ask you, hey, Gogo, how much is this one? Curiosity kills the cat. Okay. And as soon as they reach out to you, now I know you're on the market.
This is incredible, Gogo, because again, it's taking a piece of content that is so simplistic in nature that everyone can do, and then putting yourself injected in that, leaving curiosity.
Because I want you to hire me as your realtor, me.
Yeah.
The house didn't sell itself. The house behind me did not sell itself. I sold that house. So you need to hire me, right? The next thing is, so let's say now you're in the picture, you're by the pool, let's say you get 50, 60, I don't know how many followers you have, right? So there's going to be a higher number for the picture. But now you take that same house, same realtor, same pool, you're standing in the backyard, but maybe you do a boomerang as jumping into the pool. You know how you jump in and jump out? Yes, you're going to have to go in your hair day, but it's going to work the reel. Trust me, right? Then you're going to jump in and then jump out. Like the boomerang is going to do that for you. And you could say something hilarious with that. Like, do you want to jump into your new home? Like, I don't know, make up something, right?
Right.
People are going to watch it, even if they're not on the market, just because it's freaking hilarious, because they want to watch you get wet. Pretty much what happens. Right?
Yeah,
like,
sure.
This is really happening, right? And that's it. Now it's the same. We are doing it for the same reason, but doing it with different techniques is going to get you different results. So now if you use Reels, which is the same thing as TikToks, which is the same thing as YouTube Shorts, is just different platforms call them different things, which is a vertical style video, short format. So it's usually a minute, minute and a half, or less than a minute and a half, right? Instagram is pushing that because it's a new feature, right? So they're pushing that. You always want to do the new trends, whatever the newest thing is. And in case your listeners are saying, Gogo, I don't know how to do Reels, guess how I learned it? I went in there and I pushed every button and I see what happens when I push it.
That's it.
Also, there's this other thing called Greg. There's another thing called YouTube.
This bizarre thing. Wait, is it attached to this weird site called Google? I don't know.
So if you don't know what YouTube is, then you can go on this other thing called Google. And on Google, it's like a search engine. Oh, no. And then you can put in YouTube and it's going to take you to YouTube. And then when you're on YouTube, you're going to type in, how do I create a reel? And then 900 million videos are going to come up. And then you're going to pick one. And you're going to follow that step by step. And next thing you know, 5 minutes or maybe an hour later, first time it might take you an hour.
That's fair.
Eventually it's going to take you 5 minutes with your eyes closed, right? But that's how you learn anything. If you don't know something, go on Google, go on YouTube it, watch a video, 5 minutes later, you're smarter, you're done.
I love it. And, when you mentioned that, Gogo, in addition to, I absolutely love following individuals that are doing things at a high level for ideas, right? And looking at it from all perspectives. So if you're taking Gogo's advice and looking at it from short form, cross-pollination videos, and you're really looking at it to saturate the market that you do with interest and excitement and entertainment, but also knowledge, look to those individuals that are doing the things that you want to do on these platforms. You look at them, you follow them, follow Gogo, everybody. Instagram handle is going to be down below in the show notes. So please, this is going to be one person you're going to want to follow for those thoughts, those ideas, the perspectives, the trends that are really making impact. But do that across the board and you'll be able to create a list of great ideas that you can implement. So that it's not a question of Gogo. And I'm sure you hear this all the time. Oh, I know I need to be doing video and I'm fine with the way I look and the way I sound, but I don't know what to do. Well, that's not an excuse either. No, follow the people who
here's my question. What are you doing today? Talk about that. What's the first thing, the thought that came to your mind today? Did you grab a book off the shelf? Did you just close your 100th deal? Did you just health insurance for your family? Are you thinking about switching a brokerage? Oh, maybe this water pipe bursted in your newest listing. Whatever that's happening, people want to see into your life. What does it take to be you? That's what you posted about today.
Oh, big. Gogo, we could go all day on this. I love this. And again, this was just the tip of the iceberg for your knowledge and technicality into it. And I know that you're training and teaching and pouring into so many professionals all over the world. I definitely want to thank you from the bottom of my heart for taking the time. I know you're super busy, and really just to share your story and really your perspective onto life and to business, and those takeaways are massive. So Gogo, I can't thank you enough for taking the time.
Thank you so much for having me today. This was awesome.
Oh, it's great. And I do need to dub you an official real estate titan, Gogo. That is a badge of honor that you can wear forever. No one can ever take it away. There's no trophies or plaques, as I always say, but you can wear it in your heart, carry it there. But thank you, Gogo. And everybody, thank you as always for your time and attention, love and support. If you love what we're doing with Real Estate Titans, don't forget to like and subscribe. You know what to do at this point, but I have to say it anyway. I do have to give our sponsor a quick shout out, Lionbolt Media. If you are a real estate professional looking to grow and scale your digital business, marketing, advertisement, lead generation, and conversion to close transactions, visit lionboltmedia.com. We are live here on Real Estate Titans every Tuesday afternoon, a different Titan, a different location. Catch everybody on the next live episode of Real Estate Titans. Take care. Thanks, Gogo.
Thank you so much for having me.